Hi everybody, this is Kaitlin Springer with the Florida Orchestra, and I want to talk more about vibrato today. So last time we talked about how vibrato is an up and down motion on the fingerboard so that the pitch goes from a place down and it comes back, right? So it's an oscillation here. We're going back and forth from a pitch. So how are we going to practice that? That's what we're going to talk about here. Now, what we did before was we did just going up and down. So let's do that again for a minute, just going up and down, and just get used to having your arm kind of keeping the motion up as your fingers are stuck in the top of your fingerboard, which is jello. So you're just wiggling and waggling your finger in this jello, and your arm is still moving this way. And if you need to go back to this to find this again, then by all means practice that as much as you need. And then when you feel like that's easy, you could bring it up here, and it's the same principle except we don't have gravity. We're not going up and down, but we're going up and down the fingerboard. So now we have the same principle. Our arm is moving, we narrow it down, our fingers wiggling in some jello now. It's a little bit stuck in a piece of jello somehow, and our arm is still doing the same motion here. And you have some flexibility in your wrist. I tend to use some wrist in my vibrato. So my vibrato looks a little more like this a lot of the time, but there's always a little bit of help with the arm. So get used to moving that arm, and yeah, just practicing doing that a little bit before you go on to try this exercise. Now this exercise is kind of fun. We're going up the string, we're starting at a pitch, and we're going down, so it's like that kind of a thing. So you can hear how the pitch is going. You're going back and forth. Now what's really important here is that your thumb is relaxed here. Your thumb might even go along the ride with you. I see a lot of stuck thumbs though. People just moving their fingers, and I don't really want to see that. I want to make sure the thumb is released. The thumb is always going along with the ship, and in long-term motion, this is your ship, right? But this is just kind of a narrowed down version of that. So your thumb is the same principle. Keep your thumb with you. And the other thing is the release here. So you want to release. You don't want to be squeezing your finger down. You'll never be able to. So if you hear that slurpiness, that little extra bit of noise in between, then you're probably squeezing your fingers. So if you find that, I want you to just replap your finger and press less hard. So you're on the jello, and it's like the jello is like it's a moon, I don't know, like a moon bouncing thing, or a trampoline. So you're never gonna stay still and stuck on a trampoline or in a piece of jello. You're always gonna have a little bit of a bounce back. Even if you walk on a trampoline, you're always gonna have a bit of a bounce in your step. So this is just like that. You want to have a bounce in your step as you're wiggling and waggling through that jello. So the exercise, we're climbing up the D string. First finger goes first. We start in E and we go back. F sharp, G, and A, fourth finger. For the brave of heart, that's the exercise. And then we come back down. And that's how the exercise works. Now, we might want to start a little bit slower than that So let's just let's set up our metronome. Our metronome is going to help us with this. Maybe not quite that slow. I put my metronome on 92. I think this will be good. So think of your quarter notes. And I'm doing 4 beats in a bow. Great. So that's how that works. We'll do that a couple more times. The idea of that exercise is to get you used to narrowing down this longer motion. And I guess a good precursor to that would be the siren exercise. Just going up and down in the long range, making that siren sound. That's another way that you could get used to that too, but I want to practice it narrowed down. Because when you're doing vibrato, it doesn't sound like a siren at all. So I want us to get used to the narrowness of the motion. So your arm is always in that same motion. You see that? Your arm follows that same path. I think my 4th finger I do more of a wrist, but you can still see there's still arm motion in there. So it's just a nice little way to practice it. Let's put the metronome back on and let's try that one more time. Don't do too much of this because your fingertips are going to get really raw. So just stick to like a few minutes a day of this exercise. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job, guys. Yeah, don't do too much of that. That's kind of a fun exercise, though, isn't it? It sounds kind of cool. It's kind of like mysterious. And then once you learn vibrato, you could throw in some fast vibrato there for fun. But yeah, so that's one exercise that you could use to help learn vibrato. Of course, vibrato is not a microwave meal. It's a slow cook, crock pot, all night long simmer. You gotta let it simmer. It's not gonna boil. It's not gonna be really hot. You're gonna get it like that. Eventually, it might click and you'll start actually doing it more automatically. But you'll never do it automatically if you never try it and if you never practice it. So make sure you try it and make sure you practice it. Well, thank you guys for practicing vibrato with me today, and I'll see you next time.